Shots up from around the way. My life was never easy. This next one gonna be easy.
Tony, I guess talk about it, man. I mean, a year off, now you're back. It's time to fight again. Give us just the emotions. What's going through your head right now?
This is awesome. I'm just glad to be here. Glad to see you guys, non-pandemic, and just hopefully we can enjoy this weekend really good.
So has this been like a mindset adjustment more than anything in terms of, you know, the way you enter the cage on Saturday?
I had to stop thinking all about the bad shit and just kind of just focus on what's really important, which is just having fun. You know, if I'm not having fun, I'm not going to go out there and have a good time, which is, obviously you guys saw that. And I've been in enough positions, bad positions, where I thought that Khabib would actually take a fight, and then the pussy's still scared.
My life was never
So, nothing to him, you know what I mean? But with Chandler, I've wanted this opportunity for a long time. I feel like he cut in line. It's not his fault. That's always on Dana.
You've always fought anybody, of course, but is it a little more exciting to fight the guy with Dana White privilege, right? I mean, you nailed it with him.
You fucking dodged me too, Chandler.
Hey, that's not
You're
true.
a bitch. And you fucking said no, man. I'm gonna be real. You got this shit handed to you. You got Dana White privilege.
It's telling.
I don't think that shit's very funny.
No?
You do, maybe.
I thought that the moniker was good. I thought it was pretty enjoyable.
I don't think it's very funny. So, I mean, everybody's looking at it and they're smiling, they're laughing at it, but nobody's saying shit. But I was handpicked by Dana White, and I won the Ultimate Fighter. I knocked everybody out at 170 pounds. They've been making me cut weight. They made me feel like I was inadequate going up to 170 again. They made me feel like I could not do that. They made me feel like I had to lose weight over and over. They didn't care about how I feel. They don't care about how I was treating my body or how I was treating my mind. It's kind of fucked up, pretty much. I've been competing in this sport for a long time. I took a bad fall at Fox. They took my title from me.
Tony Ferguson hurt himself. He tore his LCL. And apparently that's an injury that you don't need surgery on, but he actually tore it off the bone. He's going to need surgery on his knee.
So Tony Ferguson, who was your interim,
What the fuck?
is your interim UFC lightweight champion. He was scheduled to face Khabib Nurmagomedov for the real title, UFC 223 in Brooklyn, just a week away.
I don't wanna be a fucking dog that you drag around to collar on my neck, tied to a pole, leave me in the freezing cold.
So that's a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, you know what I mean? To kind of keep coming here and smiling and being used to be on a poster. And I think we're underpaid personally. I'll be real, I'm not gonna say too much. You know what I mean? Dana said something the other day. I put it on, it's on my phone. People MMA fighting actually reposted it. Talking about all these boxers are overpaid. I asked Dana to box. I said, fuck no. I want to go do all these couple things, but then I have this guy right here acting like a fucking drug dealer telling me I can't go and do this shit. I want to go make more money for my family. So I'm a different animal. Hold on, brother, I'm talking. Now that shit was funny.
This belt? It's great, man. Yeah, absolutely. What does it mean to you? What does it mean to you? It's a belt. It's shiny, awesome. It's cool. It's a piece of hardware that I can give to my baby boy.
Eu não comi nada antes.
You know,
Eu
absolutely. Hold on, I'm talking, brother.
Então, vai te fuder, vai tomar teu cu, meu.
What I'm trying to say
O
is,
problema é teu, se tu falar, fala com o cara aí, vai tomar teu cu,
what I'd
meu.
like to say,
Tá muito cheio da onda o cu do cachorro, vai tomar teu cu,
cuando
meu.
yo estoy hablando, necesito
Es tu
cállate.
problema, cállate tu puta madre, maricón. No, a mí no me digas así, cabrón, no me vengas a hablar así, no seu merda.
I don't understand what he's
Não,
saying.
não tem
You
mais
guys
tomar teu
understand
cu, é isso aí, ô palhaço. Tu é um palhaço, rapaz, cállate um caralho, vai tomar teu
that?
cu,
Dog, you don't want
palhaço.
none of this shit, dog.
É, isso aí é o cu de cachorro, não tem esse negócio aí comigo, teu palhação.
What the fuck you want?
Você não vai falar, você não vai falar. O que é o pau, pô?
You and your punk ass.
Não, teu cu, pau,
Later.
comigo não vai falar assim, ô pau.
Hey, have fun fighting my undercard.
Comigo não, pô.
I don't understand you. What the fuck are you talking about? Shut up before I ankle kick you. Bye, Felicia.
I'm a fucking walking paradox. No, I'm not.
Tony Ferguson, El Cucuy. He was once considered the literal boogeyman of the UFC's lightweight division. Despite carving a path for himself as a 3-sport high school athlete and a 2006 NCAA National Wrestling Champion, his MMA fighting style is anything but traditional. He is one of the few legendary examples of a fighter weaponizing his own cardio. He could outpace you until you either fall victim to his 10th planet rubber guard, his slicing elbows, exhausting teep kicks, and lethal punches thrown from the hip.
In 2017, Tony lined himself up for a shot at lightweight gold against lethal striker and global superstar Conor McGregor. At the time, these two fighters were both managed by Paradigm Sports. But when McGregor became champion, Ferguson felt neglected by his management and claimed they knew he was bad business for McNuggets. For the audience, this made for an even more compelling grudge match. So let's examine Tony's 12-fight win streak, a terrorizing run that will forever haunt the MMA history books.
Look how heavy his arms are. Oh, he's exhausted. And
You are the interim champion. Of course, Conor McGregor is the lightweight champion. Give us your thoughts on that matchup.
Where you at, McNuggets, you piece of shit? Conor McGregor made us rich. Break out the red panties.
The MMA community had high hopes for McGregor staying active as champion. But he held up the division for 9 months, only to get TKO'd by Floyd Mayweather for $100 million. Unsurprisingly, Conor never defended his belt. You can't blame him, considering he sat atop the shark tank that is the 155-pound division, where El Cucuy, as well as the undefeated bear mauler Khabib Nurmagomedov, both reside. With Conor out of the picture, it was time for these two legends to finally collide. Unfortunately, a career-altering injury during fight week would prevent Tony from finally facing Khabib in Brooklyn, New York in 2018. So in a lackluster turn of events, Khabib wins the belt via unanimous decision against the barely ranked and part-time realtor Al Iaquinta. But Conor is good for business, and I guess that trumps merit. So when he decided to return later that year, he was gifted an immediate title shot against Nurmagomedov.
What's up, fuckers? You miss me?
Tony's been a journey to get here, man. Give us an idea what it feels like to be back on fight week again.
Check this out. It's been 5 months since my injury. Took a long fucking time for me to be here. They took my belt. They took a bunch of zeros from my paycheck. How do you think I fucking feel?
I remember hitting them all with the whole team. Now nigga can't answer calls cause I'm balling. I was waking up getting racks in the morning. I was broke, now I'm rich, these niggas salty. All this designer on my body got me drip, drip. And straight up out the objects, I'm a big trip. If I got up on a lean, I'm a sip, sip. I run the wrestle with my queen like London and Nip. But I got rich on all these niggas, I did it for get back. I had to go through the struggle, I didn't forget that. I hopped inside of the Maybach and now I can sit back. These bitches know me now, cause I got them big racks. Cause I'm getting money now, I know you heard that. Young nigga on the corner, bitch, I had to serve crack. I got this shit you can light with a lighter. Fuck a lighter, I can light in the stove. Dark a lighter, drop a log in the fire. Wondering if you was out in the cold. I got this shit you can play for your mom. I got this shit you can play for the hoes. I got this shit you can sell in the tracks. Dedicated with the K in the coat. I know some rappers with homicides. I know some rappers with purple, bro. Not the money, but they played your soul. You played yourself, you played the role. I got some niggas sit down the street. Some of my niggas are down the road. Got some niggas that be down with me. You know what they say. Oh shit, nigga!
Khabib received a 9-month suspension for more or less inciting a riot at UFC 229. This was bad news for Tony. Although at the end of the night, he was remembered by millions as the violent professional with an inspiring redemption arc. This was also around the time when the Tony is the type of guy memes really took off. For instance, Tony Ferguson is the type of guy to turn off his bedroom lights with a spinning elbow, or Tony is the type of guy to shadowbox at a funeral. You get the idea. This unique form of fandom organically propelled Tony into the mainstream. But Tony did not return to the octagon until June 2019 as a last-minute addition to UFC 238. He would face the surging veteran Donald Cowboy Cerrone, the people's main event.
Tony, I wanted to start with you. You brought your belt today. I want to ask you, what is your mindset coming into this fight? I mean, this journey's been long for you. You were awarded a championship belt. You were stripped of it. I mean, is there a chip on your shoulder? Are you excited? Are you angry? Are you frustrated?
Stripped? It's right here. It never fucking went anywhere. The hype is real.
Khabib, I want to ask you, I mean, you said that this fight is important for your legacy. What is it about Tony that makes it important to have this fight for your legacy?
I think we have to fight.
Fuck your legacy.
Like, I think he deserves this, you know. He is real challenge. You know, I respect his skills, you know. But, you know, like fighter, he's very good fighter. But why people don't like him? Because he's stupid guy. You know, that's why nobody understand him.
I'm very educated,
like honestly, like even 36 years old is not good for lightweight division. You know,
it's fucking who, dude?
This is not like heavyweight.
Watch when you get your ass kicked by an old man. I just got old man strength.
We will see. We will see. But
He's champ shit only, motherfucker. I can't understand these son of a bitch.
The fifth and seemingly final time Dana White books Tony versus Khabib. At this point, it's almost too perfect. October 2015, Khabib pulls out with a rib injury. April 2016, Tony pulls out with lung issues. March 2017, Khabib pulls out with weight-cutting problems. And of course, in April 2018, Tony tore his LCL off the bone. Both men dropping out of their scheduled bouts an even number of times while riding a 12-fight win streak inside the octagon. Nothing could stop these two from finally clashing. That is, except for a global pandemic, which forced Khabib to isolate in Russia. Nurmagomedov would be replaced by everyone's favorite car crash of a human being, Justin Gaethje, who was riding a 3-fight win streak at the time. All knockouts against ranked contenders.
So, since we last spoke, again, some more news. Hours after we spoke, Dana White comes out and says, we are back in business, May 9th. We're going to put on this mega card. But what about what happened on Friday, DC? The card wasn't happening April 18th, right? We know that it didn't happen. Khabib, Tony, Justin Gaethje. Tony Ferguson actually cuts weight and makes weight for a fight that is not happening. How crazy is this?
Let me tell you something, Milwani. Tony Ferguson, different cat, right? But Tony Ferguson stepping on the scale at 155, that tells you how disciplined this man is. How disciplined is Tony Ferguson to get all the way down to the championship weight with nothing to gain?
Took an inhuman amount of punishment, but his cardio is so much better than everyone else's.
He's already training. He was training today.
He was dancing in the emergency room.
Yeah, he's ready to go back. He's taken this loss. Like, it gave me the chills listening to him talk last night.
Yeah,
like we're talking. I'm like, his champ shit only. That's in his losses too. Because he's like, listen. He goes, everybody in the world is suffering financially, and I got to go in there and make a whole bunch of money, and my family's secure. So I lost technically, but I won in life. Yeah, I'm winning. So.
Thanks, Eddie.
All right, so we don't get to see Tony's win streak versus Khabib's win streak, and now Gaethje is the interim champ. But Khabib's father and lifelong coach, Abdulmanap, always wanted to see Khabib versus Tony. Khabib remained graceful during this unfortunate turn of events. And regardless, he now had his hands full with Justin Gaethje waiting in the wings. But Khabib made quick work of Justin later that year by putting him to sleep via triangle in the second round, in his most dominant and terrifying performance to date. This would also be Khabib's final fight inside the octagon. Khabib made a promise to his mother to stop fighting given Abdulmanap's recent and untimely death. Tony would then go on to lose his next 2 fights by unanimous decision against 2 dark horses of the lightweight division's next generation. Charles do Bronx Oliveira, who many considered to be the Brazilian Tony Ferguson 2.0 given his fighting style and overall demeanor, and then Beneil Dariush, a well-rounded martial artist who is a huge fan of Jesus. Swag. 1 year passes and Tony calls for a fight with UFC newcomer and company poster boy Michael Chandler. When Chandler entered the UFC, he shot to the top of the rankings, which noticeably bothered his fellow lightweights. Chandler was a personification of everything Tony resented about the UFC, and it was time for a proper comeback.
So I'm taking this weekend very fucking seriously. So I'll kick this Dana White boy's ass.
Honestly,
Wish I would go ahead and fuck my life up. Can't let them get to me. And even though I always fuck my life up, only I can mention me.
The UFC generated upwards of $1 billion in 2020, and Tony vs. Justin was the first live US sports event since the pandemic lockdowns were put in place. As a result, the organization arguably gained the attention of more casual viewers than ever before. It's really sad that some fair weather fans will never care to know the true greatness of El Cucuy. Thankfully, that's not the case with Stockton's own Nate Diaz, who can recognize a fellow G when he sees one. Nate has also been on the receiving end of UFC shenanigans since winning the Ultimate Fighter in 2007. In September of 2022, Nate was scheduled to face the young Chechen killer Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 279 in the main event. Tony Ferguson would be making his move to welterweight in the co-main event. But thanks to a mismanaged weight cut by Chimaev, the entire card was reshuffled at the 11th hour, and the fans were set to receive a feel-good matchup of Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson at 170 pounds. Tony fanatics were also pleased to see Tony's newfound lighthearted energy during fight week.
Here with the one and only Tony Ferguson ahead of UFC 279, who is making the move to welterweight. You talked about this for a while, now you are making the move. Why was this the time to go to welterweight?
Because I'm fat.
Fat and happy?
Yeah, bro.
Nice.
I had a soda yesterday. Everybody looked at me like I was crazy, and living life, man, finally.
Tony, I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah. Last few years during fight week, I feel like I've gotten a little bit of like a stress feeling from you. Sometimes you seem really happy, man, and I don't know if it's just the weight cut. You just seem happy coming into this fight week.
I had to cut all that weight, man. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. It was awesome, man.
I'm going to ask you a question that I think basically everybody had when this fight got announced, Tony.
Where do babies come from? I can't tell you that, bro. I'm just saying.
I love to see your mindset. I love to see how happy you are. One last thing that I'll just throw out there, though. If people,
can you ankle pick me?
If people really knew this whole entire story, like if everybody knew the whole story about you and Conor, wouldn't it be one of the biggest fights ever? I mean, shouldn't that fight happen at some point?
You know, everybody wants to be a goat, but I'm the boat. That's the best of all time. Goats come and go, but boats stay floating.
For sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day, it's a beautiful day.
So Tony didn't win that night against Diaz, and he was subbed for the first time in his UFC career. It's unfortunate that these two killers couldn't have met in their athletic primes. But these are the types of fights you want to see for two men who have given us so much pain and blood for their entire adult lives. And despite this 5-fight skid, Tony's supporters aren't going anywhere, because he is that type of guy.
I'm here with another legend, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Ferguson. How about a round of applause for Tony Ferguson?
I love my crew, so shout out to my wife, our 10-year anniversary. My kid missed his first baseball game. We've got a lot to make up, man, and I'm
Well, Tony, you're a legend. It's always a pleasure to call your fights. Tony Ferguson, ladies and gentlemen.
I've been the champ. I am the champ. You have these two knuckleheads over there making this sport look bad. So when I had that media scrum over there and I yelled at all you guys, don't be feeding that bullshit. Straight up, I am the champ. I don't have a belt up here. I don't need to have a belt up here and be the champ. So if you guys want to feed that, go ahead, put that in your pocket and take it with you. But what I'm doing here is cleaning up the sport. This is an Olympic level type of sport and it needs to be cleaned up. Khabib and I deserve to fight. We need to fight for the 5th time. We need to try this out again. He is the champ. I was the intern champ. I'm still the fucking champ. There's no BS in this. Conor does not want to fight me. I saw him when we were walking up to the weigh-ins. He walked up, he did his strut. I turned around and he fucking stopped. He looked like a deer in headlights. Nobody wants to be trapped inside that cage with me. They don't want to get cut by my elbows. They don't want to get hit by any of my kicks, and they don't want their conditioning checked by me. I'm going back to school, guys. I love everything that's going on right now. I'm at peace. Next question.